Alright, what is going on, you guys? This is your boy, the Deathmasher, and we're back again with yet another tier list for Bleach Brave Souls. Now, it has been a bit over a month since we have last updated it, and yeah, I could have chose to wait until we got the mid-month news live stream, which is going to be dropping in a couple of days. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, BBS is so dry right now with content that I just want to get a video out and just make it rather than just wait for 2 new characters. We'll add them in the next month's PVE tier list. Anywho, the way of how this works, like how we talked about it last month, is that this is categorized for just about every single game mode for PVE, Guild Quest, PvP, but my list primarily focuses on GQ the most and a bit of PvE, because at the end of the day, just about every single character that you get to make usage out of will be able to clear content just fine. But yeah, it's pretty much valuing their skill set, their kit, and everything else that we need to pretty much talk about. So yeah, this is power right now. We are going to be making a lot of adjustments to the list because of, you know, the shadow buffs that have been going around for Guild Quest. So, I'm just going to say this right now. Ranking GQ characters is going to be a little bit more difficult from now on because the way of how they have been massively buffing the HP values is just ridiculous. But anywho, that's all 5 of the tier lists, and let us begin by bumping down and upping some characters. So for power, I think that SSS is completely fine as is, but that being said, I am going to be moving down Shinji. Now, this character will become better now that Macy is out and is a thing, but that being said, considering how Giselle's performance was in the likes of Melee Soul Reaper Guild Quest, this guy's performance is actually going to be similarly worse than Giselle, just because of the fact that he has Poise Break. So the enemy mobs will not be able to attack each other, and let's be honest, Oetsu is still the best main lead for Melee No Affiliation Guild Quest, but that is going to change once we do see what the next upcoming character will be for end of month, which is going to be a Melee No Affiliation killer. So, yeah, that being said, I think this is all I want to do for power in terms of bumping down and upping characters. I think this is completely fine. Not much that we really need to do besides adding the new characters. Okay, going over tech. If I were to make an adjustment to the technique tier list, it would just be to move down this Christmas Soul Toto into S. Although, to be fair, she can still hold her own if you do have duplicates into her and you don't have access to 10th Anniversary Rukia. So she just has that going for her. Shinji's not getting bumped down because I've seen people being able to get 54, 55 seconds in the Shadow Buffed Range Squad 0 Guild Quest, which is saying a lot. So he is going to stay in the spot just fine. But yeah, for now, we'll just leave Lil Toto as is. Maybe revisit her next time we update the list in the next month. As for speed, now, I have been getting a lot of comments saying, "Hey yo, Death, you should put Rukia above Kenpachi." I'm gonna be honest, Kenny is still the better character at the end of the day, just because of the freaking EX move. And when you compare the two characters, yeah, Kenny's kit is just as good as Rukia. He has a lunge, 960 all around the character, and then he has the beautiful 2-stage charged SA3. Rukia has the 800 plus AoE in front, the better SA2 compared to Holobankai Toshiro, and then has a regular 1200 full screen SA3. Here's the main difference. Kenpachi has the better EX move compared to Rukia, and the only big kicker is the fact that this guy doesn't have long stride, he doesn't have complete ailment immunity of 200%, but I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to mobility, you can just give this guy long stride, and he'll be just as fun as any other character that you guys decide to use for any given speed character. As for the complete ailment immunity, I don't really value that skill as much because it just makes the unit completely immune and not having to worry about it, but you can still get some really good scores. That being said, once we do have the ailment plus puddles available to us for the likes of Melee Espada, and for whatever reason we do see Kenny being hindered by the plus puddles, I might bump him down below Rukia, but that's really it. Besides that, this guy is still one of the few characters that can get 57, and in PV he's gonna be just fine, really. That being said, the only adjustment that I do want to make onto the speed attribute list is that we're going to be bumping down Unohana. These shadow buffed guild quest rotations have actually managed to completely power creep even the rampage characters that I do not see that much value into the characters unless you have like increased element chance against every single enemy mob. And keep in mind, you have a slow build up at the start. And it's unfortunate. Well, Unohana has seen better days, alright. That being said, I'm gonna put her underneath Toshiro. Toshiro does not have Rampage and his DPS. Yeah, he is not gonna be that much better than Unohana, but he does have the increased element chance. He does have a lot more stuff to go for, but it's like, yeah, you can kind of interchange the two characters at the end of the day. They're gonna be performing similarly for their respective guild quest rotations, but I don't think it really matters all that much. VL and Asnot, they have completely solidified their spots, even with the Shadow Buff Guild Quest, especially Asnot, with the special time limited Melee or Ronker Guild Quest. Now, that can change by the time we do get the new harder Melee or Ronker Guild Quest, but I think that he should be pretty okay, considering I did get 51 seconds, and at 2.5, yeah, you can get 49 with this character, if you are not using Mini. So, yeah. And then for the Mind Attributes, yeah, I would probably start pumping down Ishin at this point, because right now his main usage is going to be Limit Breaker Quest. And that is the only game mode where he has still stayed very dominant, because the only thing that you would want for this character to work out fine is have the rules favoring mind characters, and make sure that you're up against heart enemy mobs, and this character will perform just fine, even if he only has one rule active. Why? Rampage, the damage over time, broken element combo of burn and lacerate, and that is all you need with this character. He is pretty goddamn good in Limit Breaker still. He's over a year old and he still performs just fine compared to a lot of the other characters. It's just that right now these are the best mind characters, realistically speaking. And that's it. That is the only adjustment that I need to make for the mind attribute. And heart, okay. We're going to be bumping down two characters, and that is going to be Kilgay, because of the same reason, just the fact that Rampage characters have been completely overthrown by the Shadow Buff difficulties, but I'm also going to be bumping down this Ulquiorra. Now, this guy can still do very fine in ranged Espada Guild Quest, but the Shadow Buffs really hurt this character by a lot. He is not capable of even hitting 50 seconds when at 2.5, and if you can, it's very RNG dependent. And then, if you do have this character max transcended, the max I've seen is like 51, which is very bad compared to VL. And I'm gonna be honest, I hated using this character more in Guild Quest than VL, just because of the bad kit, how it's structured. Yeah, I'm not gonna keep this guy into SS anymore, realistically speaking. And that is pretty much it for updating the currently existing attributes. I've rambled on long enough, so now I think we can start adding in the new characters. So let's start off with the power characters, being Nini. Now, Nini is a good character. She's very good, and I think that they structured her kit and her skill sets nicely. The one big kicker here is that she has no support characters. And for whatever reason, her main GQ rotation was harder than Jushiro, just because of the fact that she literally has no dedicated support buffer for no affiliation characters as a whole. The only support buffers that she has currently going for is Swimsuit Noelle that gives out 20% strong attack damage, which sadly, it's not even enough. So the best rotation for her would pretty much be bring Asnot as one of your side units for the debuffs, and bring the Swimsuit Noelle, and you should be fine. You'll be able to get like 50 seconds if RNG favors you a lot. But yeah, besides that, the skill set is really good. The one thing that I find to be wasted here is this team party strong attack damage of 20%. There should have been anything else, because you already have the Mugetsu link that already exists for the GQ rotations as a whole, and this could have been anything. And if you guys ask me, let's say Nini had per se 20% strong attack damage to no affiliation characters as a whole, and had more damage to element affected enemies per no affiliation, similarly to Grammy, I think that this character would be so much better. But that being said, her skill set is still fine for the most part. She still has Frenzy 3 with 85% strong attack damage, Havoc of 20, Sprint +1, Marauder, and does have damage to paralyzed enemies of 50%, 80% SP boost, and also has a bit of full stamina damage boost of 30%, with freeze immunity of minus 200%, and the kit that she has is pretty much good. She has a 3k length beam, like Aizen, SA2, the same SA2 as Jushiro and Ichigo. By the way, the website I'm using is called Urahara Shop. I recommend you guys check it out. It's very good for checking out characters. And then the SA3 is your regular, typical 1200 A radius SA3. And then the EX move, she has another beam in front, which is quite wide, not so much in length, but still very good. And she has Paralysis Plus on her entire kit. Now, this character can become better once we do get an appropriate no affiliation buffer, but for now, I'm gonna be putting her right behind Aizen. Yes, Aizen, yeah, his skill set, when you look at it compared to Nini, it's just that he has Frenzy 2, compared to Nini having Frenzy 3. But the thing is, he has a very cracked kit, he has access to a lot of support buffers, whereas Nini just has about nothing, and this character at 2.5 can pretty much get 52 seconds in the shadow buffed GQ rotations. Especially range captain, considering, yeah, he has a PvP killer, and he'll just be able to demolish the rotation itself. And he is still going to be a lot more fun. He feels more complete as a character, but in the future, we might bump up Nini above Aizen. But I feel like this is the right placement for now, considering her performance in Guild Quest. Now, the next character is going to be Neliel. Neliel is our very first ever NAD unit with Flurry 3 in Guild Quest. And outside of Guild Quest, she thankfully has some really good damage output. She has Flurry 2 with a normal attack damage of 60%, and also has, you know, the regular GQ skills of having extra killer effect, extra melee damage, increased element chance against all Ronkars. But most importantly, this is a character similar to Swimsuit Misaki. What do I mean by this? She's a character that can boost, but also give out more damage to element-affected enemies for the entire party, which is very good. Now, the only thing that this character lacks compared to Misaki is that she has no EX skill that can get this buffed up even further. But this is still one of the second best buffers in the game for just about any given character, regardless of the affiliation. And then has freeze immunity minus 200% with Poise and Marauder. And, oh yeah, she has an even higher bruiser too, so like, instead of being 60%, we're looking at 95% bruiser in total, which is very good, with Sprinter +1, long reach of 20, and dodge or Ronker damage. And she can proc Lacerate Plus on the entire kit, so that is actually pretty nice, and she works very nicely with both Asnot and Nini on the team. So yeah, 43% boost, and also gives out damage to element-affected enemies. So, this character, I think that she's very good. That being said, I think I would probably put her into SS maybe, with how good this character is, with how crazy enough as a NAD unit she is. But for now, I think I want to put her in S, right above Asnot, because that's how goddamn good this character is. We might upgrade her later on, just to see how her value goes up, really. But that being said, yeah, that's power completely categorized with the new characters. But that being said, we do have some new resurrections in the mix, and we may as well go ahead and talk about it. And the first one is going to be Kokuto. Now, he has yet to come out, and he'll be out by the 13th. So you guys will be able to resurrect this character. You guys will be able to get the orbs. But most importantly, he's actually pretty solid Link too, because he does now have more Link Slot potions. So if you guys, for whatever reason, are still farming regular potions, you guys can take advantage of Kokuto's Link and just make your character into a potion farmer while having recharge, which is still pretty goddamn nice. And on top of it all, his upgrades are very good. He got Frenzy 1 changed into Frenzy 2. He got a big damage increase, such as having his Berserker changed from 20 to 50. Also got to the Mugetsu Link. For a resurrected character, I don't mind this as much because you're not going to be really summoning for resurrectable characters nowadays, so I don't mind this. And he also got more Link Slot potions, so now he's a +10 potion farmer while also having Droplet Drop. So yeah, very good upgrades. He is just one step away from being really damn insane, and that is to have the SP boost. But with his upgrades, I think that it really warrants him to be at least an A tier. Hold on, on. Where is he at? I know I've ranked him somewhere in B tier. There we go. We're gonna put him up in A. I think he deserves it a lot. He got a really nice upgrade. We'll put him right here. I think it's just about right. Either above or below Hikone. I don't think it really matters too much because their damage output is pretty much similar at the end of the day. The only thing is that Hikone has Sharpshooter while Kokuto has just Guard Break, but I don't think it really matters all that much, realistically speaking. And that is power completely done. I think I'm pretty satisfied with this list overall, and we can now move on to the next attribute. And that is going to be Tech. Now, for Tech, we did get one new character, and that is going to be Macy. Now, Macy, she is another gauge normal attacking character. Now, my opinion has changed on these characters by a good long mile, and I primarily prefer normal attacking characters with GQ skills rather than gauge characters because now that we've seen what Nelio offers in terms of skill set, I personally want every single Nat character to become that way, but also eventually give us the attack boost skill. But that attack boost skill isn't going to be coming any soon now. Anywho, broken EX skill, because she gives out 40% normal attack damage at full stamina. This is the second tech link to get this, right after Parasol Momo, but also gives out normal attack damage of 18% at 1.5, and then if you guys, for whatever reason, get her 5.5, you can get it up to 30%, which is actually pretty goddamn good for any given tech normal attacking character. And, yeah, what else is there to say? This is a character with a gauge, so unfortunately, he starts off with Flurry 1. That is the one big kicker, and also does have Recharge with increased element chance against no affiliation enemies. Does have the Gauge Rampage skill with Start Gauge, and then you do have Booster Enhancer Long Reach of 20%. This skill right here, Team Party Strong Attack Damage of 20%, Fire Immunity minus 200% with Poise, and once you get the Gauge unlocked, you do get an extra Flurry for 10 seconds, as well as an extra 100% Bruiser. I would be fine with this character if she had Flurry 2. That being said, this character is basically a worse version of Christmas Remy. What do I mean by this? She has the double boosts. And the SA3 has a boosting value of an attack and focus and defense increase of 53%. So that, in and of itself, is still very good. If you do not have access to Christmas Grammy for any given off-killer GQ rotations, you can take advantage of this character and be completely fine. Just make sure Macy uses her SA3 and you're all set to go, and also has double elements of Lacerate and Drain. Now, another thing is that this character is meant for the melee no affiliation guild quest rotation. So, right now as it stands, I don't think that this character is all that needed for the rotation because Oetsu can do nicely, but he does need an ad unit for the EX waves, and unfortunately this character, being a unit that can proc status elements, is only going to hinder Oetsu's performance. By the time she procs Lacerate plus Drain, bye-bye 140% purity. So right now as it stands, she is looking in a bad shape, but if we do get a brand new lead that completely surpasses Oetsu, that's when Macy will have her purpose in GQ and can shine, even though right now she only has access to Flurry 1, and she only gets good for 10 seconds once she activates the gauge. When she doesn't have the gauge active, I'm gonna be honest, she is a fraud. You don't want to have Flurry 1 characters anymore in this day and age for Guild Quest. Like, PvE content, sure, because you're gonna be one-shotting. Content is way too easy as is, but for GQ, nah, we can't have this anymore. I'm gonna be honest. So, yeah, and she's a melee normal attacking character. Not a lot of people like melee normal attacking characters as much compared to Uryu or Askin who are ranged, so yeah. That being said, I'm gonna be nice here and give her a solid ranking and put her in S. Low S. Why? The boost value. That is all for the time being. But besides that, if I were to really rank this character, I would probably put her in A tier and put her behind some characters, because her being a gauge normal attacking character and being melee, I don't think it's really all that effective as much. But yeah, that is pretty much it. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the characters that have been resurrected and are about to get their resurrection. So, This tech, Fierce Battle Neliel, did get resurrected, and unfortunately, she got the short end of the stick compared to Chad and Noitora for whatever reason, because she didn't get her Flurry 1 changed into Flurry 2 for whatever reason when Can't For Your Own World Kenpachi got that, but she did pick up more killer effect, which was new. Keep in mind, this was the character that kickstarted GQ skills for normal attacking characters, and she started off with having this extra melee damage in GQ. So there's that, but they kind of dropped the ball, really. They didn't really give much of a bruiser increase outside of the soul trait, and for whatever stupid reason, she picked up Havoc instead of Long Reach. Very retarded. But she did get Guard Break at least, because she did not have that as a skill overall. But for a normal attacking character, this is not what you want to see. Just change Flurry +1 into Flurry +1, Flurry 2, and Guild Quest, or just change it directly into Flurry 2 and give her Long Reach. And I think that the Resurrection would have been really, really good. So in terms of ranking the character, I'm gonna be honest, where do I have her ranked? She's in B. Like, if I have to give her a solid spot, well, there we go. Right underneath Noitora, since this guy doesn't have Flurry 2 and Guild Quest, but you guys get the point. Yeah. And the last character to talk about is going to be Kusaka, who is going to get his Resurrection, and this guy got some similar upgrades to Kokuto. Now, this guy isn't a potion farmer, so they did go out of their way to make this character very valuable in terms of the link. So you have the enhanced soul trait of strong attack damage of plus 22%. The first of its kind for tech, which is very good, something that you do want to have. And even outside of the link aspect, they went out of their way to give this guy a lot of very good upgrades. What is the kicker here? No SP boost, but take a look at everything else. He got his Frenzy 1 changed into Frenzy 2. His Berserker got changed from 20 to 70%. Very nice. Combined with this, oh yeah, you're looking at some pretty damn nice damage numbers. He did get his damage to frozen enemies increased by 10% and also picked up increased element chance, unfortunately only against speed attribute Soul Reapers. This would have been better if it were against either speed attribute enemies or Soul Reapers as a whole instead of this. And this also got a mini buff of 10%. It would have been nice if Kusaka, in this case, picked up 20% strong attack damage to Tech Soul Reapers, just so that way we have another character to be able to support Tech Soul Reapers as a whole, even though we already have Swimsuit Jushiro that exists and can help out, but it still would have been nice to have. But his upgrades are very nice. Oh yeah, he also picked up Guard Break, which he did not have, and Weaken Immunity I think was new. But either way, I think this guy definitely gets a very good upgrade. Where do I have him ranked? He's like somewhere in B tier? I'm trying to find him. Oh my god. Oh, there we go. Yeah, bottom B. This guy is gonna get a very nice upgrade, and I'm gonna put him around A tier. Huh. Where am I gonna place him? Honestly, right above Bambi. Let's be honest, nobody uses Bambi anymore. So, yeah, there's that. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think this is completely fine. Yeah, this is good. This is good enough. And that is tech completely done. We went over every single new character and every single upgrades. So now let's move on to the speed tier list. And I think I want to tackle on Mind first now that I think about it, because let's move on to Mind, actually. So, Mind. The characters that we got this time around is Swimsuit Rengiku. Rengiku does not have an EX move, but the character itself does have a lot of very good things. This is another GQ lead that we have gotten after the 10th anniversary banners, and I think that they did her nicely, minus the lack of EX move, and of course giving her Drain Plus, because at the end of the day, when you look at it this way, it's basically a weaker Swimsuit Yoruichi, but not that bad. Not that bad when you take a look at everything else. And this character, I've seen people get 57, Transcended, and at 1.5, you can get 50 with this character. If you have a Soifon as the side, and of course, you do have a damage buffer. So, there you guys go. And everything else about this character, she does come armed with the EX Soul Trait right here. So, she does give out more damage to element affected enemies. At base, 12%. At max, when at 5.5, 20%. So, if you pair this link up with Swimsuit Masaki is by far the most broken support character in the game, because this should multiply and give out an even stronger a stat buff. Very good. So for every single GQ rotation, yeah, that is very cracked. And then has Sprinter +1, Havoc of 20, Marauder, and then taking a look at everything else, you can see the GQ skills, but she has Frenzy 2, Frenzy 3, and Guild Quest, the extra killer effect, the extra melee damage. You can at least take advantage of 30% of the killer effect and 10% of the melee damage outside of Guild Quest, so it's not that bad considering she has a PVE killer. With the increased element chance against humans, 80% SP boost, paralysis immunity of -200%, poise break, weakened defense, and then she still has a very nice berserker value of 70%. So that is the one thing she has going for. She has some really good damage multipliers, even outside of Guild Quest and in Guild Quest. I think that this character is almost close to like Bankai Senjumaru, just no EX move, but even then, still very good. And her kit is good too, right? Because she has the 900 radius lunge, like Soifun. Okay? This is the 4th character in the game to get this. And then you have the similar SA2 like... Okay, no, this is not the same as 10th Anniversary Ichigo, by the way, but she does have the Kenpachi SA2, and it's the same SA2 as this Noel, as this Byakuya right here, where it's a 960 all around the character, and then the SA3 is a regular 1200 radius full screen attack. So, with that in mind, she is definitely a great character. I find her to be very good, even as a great link and as a good unit, so... In terms of ranking the character, I think this goes into very easily SS. I would probably put her right around here. Either above Giselle or below Giselle. It's kind of difficult, realistically speaking. Giselle does have the EX move, right? I think it's interchangeable between the two, but I do definitely see this character being already better than Rukia, even though the GQ values were pretty much the same at the end of the day, so... I don't think it matters too much. You can interchange between Giselle and Rengiku just fine, and I do think that this character is better than Rukia, better than this Christmas Retsu, better than Candace. Other than that, very good. Just no EX move to back it up, realistically speaking. And in terms of the other characters that have gotten upgraded, we have this Chad right here. And this Chad, funny enough, he is a premium character. He got the same upgrades of a movie character. Just the soul traits, it's a bit weaker because it's only strong attack damage of 18%, which isn't bad. Mind has already a crap ton of really good links, so giving this character strong attack damage of 18% isn't a fumble at all. And going into everything else that this guy picked up, he did not have Guard Break and Havoc before, so that is very nice. And he also got his Frenzy 1 changed into Frenzy 2. Berserker value remained the same, but he did pick up full stam, increased strong attack damage of 30% with 20% more full stamina damage boost, and the upgrades are amazing. The only missing thing is 100% purity. And I think that this character would have been a very cracked resurrection. This is a SP Chad, one of the few SP Chads that we have in the game, and is usable. It's crazy to even think about that this character is usable. So in terms of ranking this character, he is definitely going to go up in A tier. Where do I have him ranked? He's like somewhere in B tier, right? Not the same common Chad. Hold on. There we go. Right here. Bottom B. Bro, his glow up is crazy. And he also has a good kit too, now that I think about it, right? Yeah, definitely above Daddy Ichigo, for sure. I think this is the right placement for this character. A tier. You can never go wrong with that. Works out nicely. So... yeah, and that is pretty much it for the Mind attribute in terms of upgrades. There's a good reason why I decided to do Mind and save Speed for later on, because for Speed, I'm gonna be honest, for this Swimsuit Noel, I had positive vibes at first, but now it's like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this is by far one of the worst GQ leads that we have gotten by far in the game this year. And the reason why is because this is definitely the prime example of a copy and paste of Swimsuit Yoruichi without the EX move, but it's even worse because, for one, this is a Burn the Witch character, and you would expect this kind of unit to be just as good as Nini. That sadly isn't the case. The second thing is that this character, just like Nini, has no support. And the funny thing about this Noel too, she was given an even easier GQ rotation compared to Nini. And even then, her GQ was an RNG fest. What's the problem with this character? So, she's a character designed for Guild Quest, but it's way worse than Rengiku in this kind of case, right? So the EX move, she does have damage to drain enemies. Okay, so once you get more dupes into that, it will multiply with the base damage to drain enemies, but that's really just about it. Not the craziest, and the only character that can take advantage of this is Swimsuit Yoruichi. So yeah, Frenzy 2, Frenzy 3, and Guild Quest, extra killer effect, extra range damage, increased summon chance against no fusion enemies, 80% SP boost, has damage to drain enemies of 40%, freeze immunity minus 200%, weaken defense, and then this right here, and then Poise Break. No Berserker value. That is the one kicker about this character. The reason why Rengiku was so much better than this Noelle, despite the fact that they have a similar structure in terms of skill set and kit, is just the fact that Rengiku just had better skills. He had a better damage multiplier output of having Berserker. Having Berserker is better than just flat out more damage to ailment affected enemies because you need to proc first to be able to get most of the damage. Noelle, the only Berserker value that she has is this, which doesn't really help as much, and at this point I would have preferred if Macy were the support character with this skill right here and more damage to ailment affected enemies, and it would have been better if Noelle just had straight up 70% Berserker like Rengiku. She also doesn't have an EX move like Rengiku. Now this character, she can still get some pretty good scores, albeit, and if you guys have Toshiro at 1.5, this character will still be able to perform better than a 1.5 Toshiro. That being said, Noelle at 2.5 is not better than a max transcended Toshiro, which is the very unfortunate thing. And I've seen people get 51 seconds with him. But the thing is, for that, you do need Toshiro as a side. He needs to be max transcended, crazy investments, and of course you need to have either Swimsuit Masaki or Swimsuit Nelio for the damage buffs. And at 5.5, she is capable of getting 56, 55, I believe, but the investment that you need is ridiculous, because outside of having Noelle 5 out of 5, it's also Toshiro that you still need to run that is max transcended, and then you bring Swimsuit Masaki, but here's the kicker, Rengiku needs to be 5.5. I've never seen that kind of investment needed before, just to even get a very good run in Guild Quest. And keep in mind, range no affiliation, value-wise, when you look at it and compare it to Melee or Rankar, it's easier. But it's just that the units that we have for it is just not that crazy. That makes it harder for no apparent reason. Hit-wise, it's pretty much the same as Rengiku. The only difference is that she has a Suction Vortex on the SA1, and that's it. But like, same SA2 as her, same SA3 as her. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I want to put her into S as a character. Now, this might change once we do get an appropriate no affiliation buffer. But for now, I think I want to put her in S. I don't know, man. This character, they just fumbled her in so many ways possible that a 2.5 BL still does better than this Noelle. Yoruichi is still better than this Noelle. She has the mini Kenpachi EX skill, 50% SP boost that can multiply with the 80% SP. Like, if I'm being honest, this is not how you do a character. She's still good, don't get me wrong. She can help you if you do not have Hollow Bankai Toshiro maxed out. But besides that, yeah, not much. You can still clear, but you're not going to be getting a very crazy score. It's just for clearing at the end of the day. So yeah, she doesn't really feel too good. Outside of GQ, I mean, she's alright at the end of the day. She'll perform just like any other single character that we have on the list to do better. So, not much. Now, let's move on to the character that got resurrected for the speed attribute, and it's gonna be the speed Dark Rukia. Now, Dark Rukia, she got some really good upgrades too, similar to Kusaka. But that being said, I have to state one thing. What is up with K-Lab keeping the nullify range resistance of 100% and then giving the character guard break? Isn't it easier to just change this into sharpshooter? So that way you can free up the skill and give her something else? I find it to be very, very stupid. But that being said, her upgrades are just as good as Kusaka, because she got her Frenzy 1 changed into Frenzy 2, she got her Berserker value changed from 20% to 70%, and her damage to weaken enemies, I remember it being lower, so now it got buffed by, I believe, 10 or 20%, and she also got the Enhanced Soul trait just like Kusaka. Now, the one thing is that I wish that the increased element chance were against either power enemy mobs or Soul Reapers as a whole when it comes to using this character. And of course, you guys are pretty much saying the same thing, no SP boost. So, that is the one kicker. And even then, unfortunately, her kit isn't that crazy good. Kusaka had, like, the same kit as, SWIMSUIT Nelio. Besides the fact that Kusaka, compared to Nini's beam, it's only by width, where Nini has it a bit more wide. But, yeah, she has a range collision SA1, like this, SWIMSUIT, Menina. I forgot her name for a good minute. Suction Vortex, and then the SA3 being full screen. But besides that, the upgrades are still very good. And the Enhanced Soul trait really give value to this character alright. So in terms of ranking the character, this is another character that I would put in A tier. And hold on, where is she at? She's somewhere around B tier or C tier. I don't remember where I placed the character. Okay, so from B, she's definitely going to go up into A tier. Probably above 5th Anniversary Byakuya, realistically speaking. That's where I'm going to rank her. But, yeah, there we go. And that is Speed completely done with the new characters and the resurrections. And now let's move on to Heart. No new characters for Heart. Just one resurrection being Noitora. And this guy got the same similar upgrades as the movie characters and as Chad. More damage to lacerated enemies. Frenzy 1 changed into Frenzy 2. He did pick up Guard Break, which he did not have before. He already had the increased element chance against Mind Attribute No Affiliation enemies. I just wish that this were changed to either Mind Attribute enemies or No Affiliation enemies as a whole. He picked up Havoc, and yeah, the upgrades are amazing for this character. So, yeah, and his kit is also fun too. Like, he has a Beam, SA1, Suction Vortex, Full Screen SA3. Yeah, pretty much an easy ranking for this character, huh? Where is he? Like somewhere around here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's just put him right next to Shuhei or above Shuhei at the end of the day. He just has a better kit than Shuhei. So that's kind of the reason why I'm putting him above him. But yeah, there you guys go. That is Heart completely categorized. I'm not gonna lie, is it just me, or is Heart looking like the worst attribute now? Because it hasn't gotten a lot of characters recently that are broken or anything. I look at it compared to a Power, it just has a bit more characters to use for now. Alright, Back is also good. Mind is crazy cracked now. Hearts, huh. It feels so weird. I think this might be the worst attribute now because it hasn't gotten a lot of crazy good units. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. Let me know if you guys agree, disagree with the list. I know some people are going to be still picky about the whole Ruka Kenpachi debacle. I don't think it really matters too much, but we might change things around for when the time does come. And Oetsu might finally get devalued for once we do get the next main lead for Melee No Affiliation, and when they shadow buff the GQ even further. But besides that, yeah, I'm pretty much fine with how I ranked the characters overall. And with that being said, I thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys have enjoyed it, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and all that good stuff. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. This has been your boy, the Dash Masher, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, lads. Bye. Sayonara. Ciao, ciao.